everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. On today's video I'm gonna be answering to the mid-year freakout book tag. Just like the name says, this tag is something that you answer midway through the year, so in June, July, and it's about all the books you've read so far and all the ones you want to read until the end of the year. I've answered to this question last year. I'm gonna leave the link down below as well as here in the cards, but last year I answered it in Portuguese, so some of you might not be able to listen to it. Without further ado, let's get started. Also, I'm not picking up the books because I can't be bothered to rearrange my bookshelves every time I record a video like this, so you shall see the covers in here. Before we started, let me tell you that this year I had the goal of reading 60 books and so far I've read 36. Not bad. I'm proud. Best book you've read so far this year, and it was so difficult to choose just one for here because I have two that were so good and they are incredibly from the same author, and I guess that means something. But those books were Verity and All Your Perfects. Best sequel that you've read so far, and this year I've only read 2 sequels and one of them was actually a prequel, but that's my answer to this question, and it is The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins, which is the prequel to The Hunger Games, but that's the best sequel that I've read. New release that you haven't read but you want to, for this one I chose Mr. Nobody by Catherine Steadman. I think that's the last name. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Once again, I have 2 books. These are for 2 books that I really want to read, and they are Midnight Sun. Obviously, it's the Twilight, but from Edward's perspective. It's coming out in August, and I already placed my pre-order for it. And the other one is coming out in November, and it's One by One by Ruth Ware, the author of my favorite book last year. So obviously, I want to read it. Biggest disappointment? For me, it was Heartstopper Volume 3, a graphic novel about this cute gay couple that is like the best thing ever, and then the 3rd book was just like, what have you done to me? Biggest surprise for me, it was Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I mean, I didn't really know anything about this book. It was on my bookshelf for years, and then I read it, and I gave it 5 stars, and it's so good. It's not amazing, but it's very good. Favorite new author, either new to you or a debut author. This year I chose a new to me author, and I think last year as well. And this year so far for me is Danielle Steele. I mean, so far this year my favorite author is probably Colleen Hoover, in the way that I read 2 of her books, and those are the 2 best books I've read this year. But she's not new to me because I've read some things from her in the past. And Danielle Steele, I read only 1 book from her this year and ever, and I really enjoyed that book. So I'm gonna go with her. Newest fictional crush. I usually don't have an answer for these questions because I don't really connect to characters in books, but Graham in All Your Perfects, that's the true representation of what, for me, a man should be in the romantic way, in like in the personality way, in the caring way, in the love way, and it's just like Graham. Goals. Newest favorite character? I don't have one because, like I said, I don't really connect to characters. A book that made you cry, Accidental Heroes by Danielle Steele. It's about an airplane and terrorism in the airplane, and yes, I did shed a few tears with that book. A book that made you happy, The Gravity of Us. The most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year or that you have received, and I chose the book Charmer. I bought it on the Amazon bookshop, and it's gorgeous, and it was actually the last time I've been to New York, and it was actually, little did I know, the last time I worked in aviation, so it also has a special connotation to it. But look at this cover! And finally, what books do you need to read before the end of the year? And I mean, I don't know, I just want to read everything. I really want to read The Passengers and The One by John Mars. I never read anything from him, but I really want to read those books. I also really want to finish rereading the Twilight series. I read the first one, I'm missing the other 3, so I want to reread that. And what else? I don't know, I just want to read all the things. And that is it! Those were my answers for the mid-year freakout book tag. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you agree with me any of these comments, if you're curious to read any of these books. Let me also know if you've recorded this tag and leave the link below on the comments for me to go check it out in case you have, and I'll see you very soon on my next video. Bye bye! I don't know why I'm rushing at the end of the video, but well, now it's done.